last few months at work, I've had some coworkers that have talked about their experience selling covered calls in the stock market. And I had them try to explain it to me a couple times, but I never felt like their descriptions were quite adequate, so this was my attempt to better understand it. I started by just clicking on a random YouTube video. In this case, it was from Clear Value Tax, and I just went down to YouTube's how YouTube provides the automatic transcript, and I copied the whole transcript from the video, and then I also grabbed a article from Schwab, and I saved both of these as text files here. And then I started by just pasting these into ChatGPT and asking for ChatGPT to summarize them, let me know some of the differences between the two, and did a good job of summarizing them and helping point out the specific differences. And I think one thing that I've noticed as we continue to use AI in this class is I like that it usually gives you something else that you might want to look at. And so, right, in this case, it just says, hey, do you want me to provide what I just did in a table, which definitely makes it easier to compare. So then after this, I copied all this and put it in another text file, and then I uploaded all three of those to Copilot. And in this case, I didn't even give it context. I just uploaded all three, and it automatically, let me know what each file contained, and then it went ahead and did another comparison, and then again it prompts me to say, hey, do you want me to do something additional with this? And so I think that, right, and then I was able to continue on right where I left off and ask Copilot to do a few more things with this conversation. So in this case, in terms of like note taking, this is just so much faster than what I would have been able to do, especially when I don't need to do a deep dive on this topic. I was just curious. So it prevented me from having to watch an 18-minute video and reading this whole article, which would have taken me, this article is not that long, but in the case that this article would have taken me 30 minutes to read, it's really a big time saver. So I think that this approach does offer some merit. Let's see, just reading over the description to make sure I covered everything. I think in terms of if I see myself using this in the future, I think what I will probably use it the most for is when I get a conversation that is just so long. Sometimes I think these UIs, they don't handle a long conversation well. So right, if I come in here and I need to scroll up and down, it just starts to get slow. And so I think what I would probably use it the most for is just copying everything from this conversation and starting a new conversation in the same UI, and just say, hey, this is what we've already discussed, let's start again, this is where I'm now stuck. Because I find myself doing that at work quite a bit when I'm working on a particular piece of code that is problematic. I go back and forth with AI a lot, and often it will give me some recommendations. I say, hey, this isn't working for these reasons. And then at some point the UI starts to get bogged down, and then so I just delete it all and I start a new chat. But I think saving all of it off into a text file and being able to say, hey, this is what we've already discussed, please keep this in mind, and then responding again, I think that is where I see the most use case for myself. And that's it for this one.